I noticed this like longing for like, I don't know who I am. Like, and I think it's like more of a spiritual awakening, you know, even though it was dark, I just felt like I didn't know myself. And like, I could tell that I was like just latching on to things that would give me momentary, like a sense of pleasure, bliss. That was the first impetus that I had to be like, okay, yeah, I need to like be way more serious about this. And I think I have a problem. And so I started going to AA. After I got out of the psych ward, I had this whole plan. I was like, you know, I'm not going to rehab. Screw that. Like, I need to fix my shit here. Just go to the meetings. I'm not like that, you know?
Right. I don't need rehab. That's where the real problematic people have problems. Like, you got to get locked up for 30 days. That's not my thing.
Yeah, my stepdad, you know? He's like, you sure? Because, like, it's not going to impress me if you do this, like, on your own. Like, I love how he said that now this day. I was like, he doesn't get it. Like, no, I got to do it like this. Like, right. I remember, like, being, like, after like I relapsed, I was like, man, I should have taken him up on that rehab. Yeah.
All right, welcome to Sober Champs. I think it's episode 14. Episode 14. We made it. I think the rule of thumb I learned a while back was like 7 or less, and podcasts usually are quit by that time. So 1 through 7, and you quit. And so we've made it to 13, or 14. I don't know, whatever.
Keep this train rolling, dude.
Hey, man. So I would like to introduce to everybody a good friend of mine that I'll get to know even more tonight. His name's Eli. Hello, Eli. How are you tonight?
I'm good. It's good to be here.
Good, man. Welcome to Sober Champs in the heart of Pioneer Square. We're at Color Studios tonight. The night is dark, but Pioneer is popping. Thanks, Mondo, for being here. Thanks, Maria, the editor of Sober Champs, and all the supporters. You know, I'd like to take a moment to just thank you for coming tonight.
Yeah.
I call this prime time. And not everybody's ready for prime time, because what I didn't really know was like when I started this podcast and then you publish it or you put it on like YouTube or Spotify or whatever, the world can hear it. And it's very cringy. It was cringy for me to like watch the episode of my first few episodes. Mm-hmm. And actually I don't even watch the episodes anymore. I haven't watched the last 3 or 4, just because I really enjoy this experience, this live experience, knowing that I'm having a genuine conversation, and the ums and the uhs and the things like that have kind of slowed down when I just engage and I'm outside of my headphones and everything. And so anyway, usually I start off the podcast with asking about your sober date, because usually people that come on the podcast are sober, and that's kind of how this works. And you know, my dad's an exception to the story, but at the same token, So what's your sober date, man?
My sober date is April 15th of 2024.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
April 15th. So what you got?
I got a little over 10 months now.
Oh, yeah. Congratulations. Yeah. It's a big deal.
Thank you.
It's a big deal.
Longest.
Longest
and furthest in my sober journey.
Okay. Have you tried before?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is attempt number 3.
Okay.
I'm calling it.
All right. Attempt number 3. Man, we're gonna start it off with like where you're born, where you come from.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm hopefully going to guide us through this whole journey and have some fun here. And yeah, what's up, man? Talk to us.
Yeah. So I was actually born Capitol Hill.
A Swedish hospital?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, you think so? Yeah,
so
me too.
Really?
Yeah, me too. I swear. Yeah, Swedish hospital.
Yeah. I only lived here for a year, and then me and my parents we moved out to Woodstock, New York. So
wow.
Yeah, coast to coast, and then
what brought them out there? Yeah, what was
so? Just a little backstory.
Yeah.
my mom, she was a baker here, and then my dad, he immigrated from Morocco to here, and they both met at that bakery, and they were both working there.
What was the bakery?
Oh man, I'm not sure if it's even still around.
Okay.
I'm not sure on the name.
Okay.
But yeah, they met there, had a one night stand, and here I am.
Oh wow.
Yeah, man.
Wow.
Clash of cultures, you know. Oh, my mom, she grew up in California, Fresno, and then she kind of moved around. Grandpa was in the Navy, but yeah, she made her way up here. Dad made his way here from Morocco, and then they moved to New York for another job opportunity, working at a bakery in Woodstock. A really cool bakery. I basically like grew up at that bakery.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah, yeah.
That's dope. And this is the famous like Woodstock area of where the concert or the.
Yeah, so I mean, most people like, I don't know if they know, but the actual festival is called Woodstock because that was like this. It's like the spirit. The town of Woodstock has a very like artistic history to it, and like there's always been like residencies and creative types living in Woodstock and in the Catskill Mountain area. But the festival was held like in a farm about half an hour away, but they call it Woodstock, and then like every other festival.
Man, that's like Bellevue, dog. Can't be talking about Bellevue is Seattle.
Yeah.
Anyway, keep going. All right, so then 30. Yeah, okay.
But yeah, I grew up in that town.
Okay.
And like the town that Bob Dylan walked around, Jimi Hendrix walked around, and like a lot of artists and like creative types have like called that their home, or their home away from home. A lot of people go there for like just it's a beautiful area in upstate New York.
Yeah. How close is it to Rochester, New York? Is it
man, Rochester's damn near Buffalo, so that's
okay.
like
All right.
it's like it's like 2.5 hours.
No worries. That's where my in-law. Anyway, that's
New York's big, dude.
It is. It's huge. It's huge, and yeah, I agree. Yeah. So then Woodstock. How long were you there?
I grew up there basically. I grew up in Woodstock and then went to high school in Saugerties, this another close by town near there. The Hudson like the upper like Hudson Valley region is like where I grew up, and yeah, man, it's a really cool place to grow up. There's like a bunch of small towns like all within close vicinity to each other. So it's like I was a resident of Woodstock, Saugerties, really, and but like all the towns nearby, we were all kind of we'd
intermingle.
Yeah.
See,
I go to Poughkeepsie.
This is what I learned when I went to Rochester. So my in-laws and my wife's family is from Rochester, New York, right? And when you go up there, there's all these little towns. There's these little towns that are connected to each other, and they're all like separate, meaning like we're our own little town, and this is where I'm from, and it's like they're literally minutes apart. Yeah, and so that's dope. And did you say your mom and dad went out there?
Yep.
Like they went together.
Yep.
So over a one night stand, they like got together and made it happen.
They got married.
Dog, that's dope.
I seen the pictures of their wedding together.
Yeah.
It's like it's really like quaint. Like it just looked like really like it looked like a love story, bro. Like the pictures I seen of them, and it's like my mom's pregnant, and like it's like I got my Moroccan grandma in the background, and like my grandparents who are white, like you know what I mean, like, and it just like this like clash
the cultures are together.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Are they still together?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's like a big part of my story too, right? It's just like that. They lasted until I was 4.
Okay.
They tried to make it work on the East Coast. I know. With my dad specifically, like, and I got this from like you know, a life's worth of like trying to find answers to these questions. You know what I'm saying? Like, what happened with that? You know, like what went wrong, and like why didn't that work out? You know, because when I grew up, like, I just remember like the pain of like watching him drive away. I remember like it's like one of my first core memories, dude. Is like watching my dad leave and like crying. Yeah, you know. I like to the point where I remember I was like looking for his like tire marks like a couple days later. Like I just want to see my like where's the evidence of my father kind of thing. Like because I don't know where he's going, right? Yep. But anyway, so like they
first of all, it's not anyway. That's a very important piece to identify as like one of your first core memories is like that feeling of him leaving. And not knowing, like that being alone. Like, where's my pops? Yeah. Because I think as a son, like, my dad is important to me. At least, you know, like, my dad is very important. But they got divorced as well. And, like, that feeling of, like, aloneness, I'll never forget. Like, when I realized, like, oh, shit, like, I think I'm on my own here. I think I was 6 years old. Like 6 years old, I realized I had this moment in this hospital where my mom had a cardiac arrest. She didn't remember my name. My dad's not the best dad at the time. And I'm like, you know what? I'm on my own. Yeah. Dude, at 6 years old, at 4 years old, that's a big burden to put on yourself in that way.
Absolutely.
Man. Keep going, man.
Yeah, man. I think I felt that, and I felt like this, like, what did I do? Like, or like, you know, why am I not like, why don't they want to stay together? Right. Like we're a family, you know, like I got that, right? Like, it's like, you're supposed to be together, right? Right. It felt that way. And he was fun, man. Like, I just remember how much fun he was. Like, he's a fun dad. Yeah. I mean, he would like, you know, a rainstorm would happen, and like our front yard would be like kind of like there are puddles everywhere, like kind of flooded, right? Yeah. And he would take me and like run me around in like a snow sled, like with a rope, and he'd like just sprint around, and like I'd be like on the just splashing around. Yeah,
that's what's up.
Yeah,
that's dope.
Yeah, he was really fun, man. Yeah. So I missed that like right from the jump for sure. And I could feel like that, what you're describing, just like that abandonment feeling, and like, and you know, I learned that like, and it makes sense, right? Like he immigrated to Seattle, and he had other family members who also immigrated here. Like my uncle, he immigrated here first, and then like he kind of planted the flag for other relatives to come from Morocco, right?
Right, this is where we're going. Yeah. Like, come on up.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, then he moved again to New York when he's got nothing out there. And I think that really got to him, you know, like that loss of culture, and then like also trying to make it work with you know, a white American woman. Yep. You know, and like he's Muslim. And so that together was just like a recipe for struggle. Yeah. You know, and he was making some bad financial choices, and he also talked to me in great detail about like his struggle with drugs and alcohol, and just like, you know, because coming from Morocco to here, that's a huge cultural shock, and just like the availability to like alcohol just in general. Yeah. And then like everything else that, you know, the land of the free gets to offer
right here.
Yeah. And he's told me so many stories of just like, you know, just how much he struggled, and I got the privilege to like learn that stuff over the course of my life, right? And growing up, like it just was like this missing link. Right.
How old were you before you made the reconnection to your dad?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get to like see him that much after that. You know, it's like there were there were more trips early on, like because he moved to Boston after that, and like I would visit him in Boston. But like right around the age of 8, he moved back out here, and then it was harder to see him. You know, it's like got to go all the way across the country to see him, and like I would take these like trips, like being a unaccompanied minor, and fly across and see him. You know, and
that was like the way it used to be, the unaccompanied minor.
Yeah.
Like that shit was
It was a
crazy.
trip.
Like you'd get hooked up with the stewardess and be like, "Here, we're gonna sit you here. Good luck."
Yeah. Like,
and then hey, mom or dad's like, "See you later."
I always got lucky though too. Yeah, for real. Like, and it was like
that doesn't happen
you got
anymore.
somebody on the other side receiving you. Like, you got a handler.
I'm not sure that happens anymore. It might, but I haven't seen it in a long time.
Like looking back on it, I'm really grateful for that. You know, because it was like, how do I like, you know, navigate that stuff and like be comfortable like talking to strangers and like from a very very early age, and like it helped me a lot, you know, and that I could think back and just like I would always sit next to really cool people and I talk like the whole plane ride to them, you know, like
come on, man.
Yeah,
I can tell.
6
like
hours.
That,
like
what else are we gonna do?
Yeah.
I don't have tablets. I don't have
for real.
my video
man.
games are
We're all
kinda
watching
not,
the same movie.
Yeah, like look at this thing, Home Alone. Look at that. That's awesome. I wish my son told me one day. He said, "Man, I said, what would you do if you were like Home Alone?" He'd like, I'm gonna go to my neighbor's house. Like he had this whole like. He had seen a couple scenes of Home Alone.
Yeah.
He had asked about it, and he was just like, "Yeah, man, I would go to my friend's house down the street. That's where I'd go."
That's like, pretty good.
I was like, "That's pretty good. Yeah, it's better than like making a fort at your house and just trying to get the bad guys." So that was cool.
Building booby traps.
Yeah. So all right. So then, they slowed down, and so you're in. Woodstock, and you're out there, and what's your first? Do you start to drink? Do you start to drug? Do you like what starts to happen?
No, like and not until like 16, 17 did I start like dabbling. Right,
that's what's up.
Yeah.
What was your first dabble?
Weed.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, it was like weed and alcohol at the same time. Like I'd you know, like my mom, I was really curious about alcohol. I'd say like even like 6 years old, 7 years old, I'd ask my mom for like, what's that margarita? Like that frozen margarita. I was like, I want to try
looks
that.
like a slushy.
Yeah. And you know, I get a little sip here and there, and I remember like. I was always like more and more interested with that because like, you know, when my mom early on, she'd bring me out like to her outings, right? And she's still young, and like I think she was like late 20s, like early 30s when I'm around that age, and she's like bringing me out like to hang out with her friends and like socialize, right? And so I was very curious about that because like she was fun, like let's see her cut loose a little bit, and like you know, I was like, okay, like I'm into that, you know. I can associate, I can like remember that association. Well, I didn't start drinking, and like weed's a big part of my story, man.
Oh yeah, me too, man. Welcome to the club. It's all good. It's one of the things that I've actually talked to a lot of people lately about is the fact that cats are addicted to weed. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna talk about it a little bit, which is just because it's sold legally around the city, the states, the world, there's something to be said about how, for me in particular, how I got addicted to it. Like it was like we're gonna wake up, we're gonna smoke, we're gonna vape, and as time goes on. I didn't have to buy it in the alley anymore. It wasn't like this scary, like undercover thing. You had to have a special, like, here you go, man. And so it became like you can go into 7-Eleven and get it concept. You know, like in Seattle, they have them everywhere.
Oh, for sure.
These
dispensaries.
Yeah, they're like and I remember having vapes being invented. And having weed vapes, and you could barely, you could smell a little bit of the scent, but you could then at that point hide you getting high. And I people can take it how they want, but like I used to go to like these dab bars, and like back in the day they'd have like these rigs set up, and you'd pick your dab, which is concentrated weed, and they drop it in the dab, and you just get ripping high. You pull up there and you're just geeked out of your mind. And so what I started to realize was I think this is freebasing.
Yeah,
I think I'm smoking crack weed.
That's what my buddy always used to say. He's like,
and look, hey, everybody's gonna take it their own way, but I will tell you, it's freebasing.
Yeah,
and so as time went on, I just kept getting higher and higher, and it was never enough. And I'd always tell myself I would stop smoking, but it just never. There was no consequences for it. It was always just like, I need to stop smoking. Like I wasn't getting pulled over and getting a DUI for the amount of weed that I smoked. And at this point, at least in this city for the most part, people are kind of like, there was no way to test how high I was if I have weed, like an open container in the car. Yeah. It was almost like looked upon as like, it's cool. Just keep going.
Yeah,
it's cool. Like, don't worry. It's just weed. But it was like addictive. Dude,
and I just like from my standpoint, like growing up, and like weed was like promoted almost.
Oh,
like,
that's what's up.
You know what I'm saying? Like it was like just starting to get accepted culturally, and it was also like, no, like this stuff is good. It's way better than alcohol.
Right.
Because like it's actually medicinal, bro.
Right.
And like,
oh, for sure.
For the longest time I thought weed was good for me. Like, this keeps me sane, bro. Like this keeps me chill. Like you don't want to see me without my weed.
Like,
man.
bro, have you seen me without my weed? Yeah. You don't want to see that. Yeah. Like, I'm good here. Just chill, man. We're just chill. Just chill. Far
I would always like be like, it could cure cancer too. You don't know. Like, I gotta find out.
Hey man, one of the first times I'm in high school, and I remember I got this class, and it's computer class, and this teacher, I'm smoking every day. Like every day, I'm getting high at lunch. Morning time, I'm smoking out of apples. Like it's just, I've switched high schools. I've switched high schools. I need something to calm this mind of mine that is growing and just paranoid. And what is that person thinking of me? That girl's cute over there. I don't know how to talk to her. So I need to calm this whole thing down, and we would help me with that. So I get into this computer class, and I remember me having a confrontation with the male teacher. I forget his name, but so it's next semester, and I'm in this computer class again, but I'm in with a different teacher, but it's in the computer room. And so this guy, he comes up behind this teacher. He comes up behind me. I reeked like weed. I knew it. And I'm sitting there like pretending to type, and I can't see shit, dog. I'm just sitting here like, oh my God, I'm so high. Like I don't know what's going on. Yeah, like I'm so fucking high. I don't even know what's going. And so he's over here and he's looking over my shoulder, and I'm like, I'm busted. I know it. So he goes over to the teacher, and the other teacher, and she's like, Peter, I need to see you in my office. And I go in, and she's like, yeah, so what's up? What's going on? I'm like, what do you mean? What's up? She's like, yeah, so you reek like weed. And I'm like, oh man, my ankle. I was like, my ankle. I've been playing a lot of soccer, because I play for the soccer team. And but my ankle, when I smoke, my ankle feels better. And without it, like,
I'm a wreck.
It hurts. So I need this to like continue to be playing soccer because it helps my ankle. No, like this, and she was like, listen, I just don't want you selling it in the class. But the point was like, I took this medicinal thing to like heart and was like, it helps me. This stuff helps me. And so that, but keep going.
That,
so then
that delusional aspect of it.
So did you smoke while you were in school and all that?
Yeah, man. I'd say like up until like 17, like I graduated like 14th out of my class. Like, got great grades.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah, and then but I found it, and like I latched onto it. Like, and I think I started to like really relish that opportunity to escape and like, you know, and like come kind of like create my own world of like feeling good, feeling comfortable, kind of like getting the noise to come down. There's so many like aspects to it, right? Like it's socially like at that time in my life when it's like 17, 18, like it's kind of cool, right? It's
I mean, it's fun.
yeah, it's totally fun.
Fucking fun.
And it worked. Like it made me feel unstoppable.
Yep.
Like it made me feel like this is the recipe to life. Like
Did you play sports or
Yeah, man.
Yeah, what'd you do?
I played baseball. I was like on a pretty good baseball team. Like we went to state championship. We didn't win, but we were like placed third in the state you know, played
position?
football. Third base,
Okay.
second base, shortstop.
All right.
Yeah.
Infield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then my senior year, I got caught smoking weed by a state trooper in a school parking lot.
Talk to me about it. We got similar stories here. This is great. Keep going.
I was the captain of the baseball team.
Okay.
It was my last year. And then it was the night before we were gonna go on a trip to Florida. Like our team would do like a spring training. He's like, that town was like a serious baseball town.
I mean, the East Coast is serious with
very
baseball.
Italian, like kind of background, and you know, I was adopted into an Italian family too. I mean, like, so it's like everybody kind of like loved baseball, promoted it, and like, yeah, it was like the heart of our town was like baseball at that time. And I got caught with this other dude on the team, and like, it was just like, yo, we're going to Florida tomorrow. Like, let's get high. Like, where do we want to go? We want to go to a smoke spot? No, dude, let's just go to the elementary school. There's nobody there.
Let's go.
And like, there's a janitor.
School spots are always the greatest spots. Like, they're just great.
Dude.
Even though it says, like, no
so
drugs
stupid.
on this property.
It's
and
so
like, it's a
stupid.
federal offense or something.
Yeah, and the cop, like, somebody was working there late, janitor or something, and he, like, seen us roll up, and, like, my car is, like, full of smoke. And he calls the cops, and, like, I'm, like, blitzed out of my mind, and like cop just on us so fast, and like put down the windows, smoke just flying out the car, like, and I got kicked off the team like the next day. Yeah, it was brutal. It's brutal,
isn't it?
Yeah,
when those consequences come in all shapes and sizes.
Yeah, man. Like,
because again, it's like I have these regrets of like, well, what if I never smoked? What if you never smoked weed? What if you never drank? What if you were what they call a straight edge, which is someone who's never tried any of this stuff? Like, what would your potential have been? Right? Yeah. It's this what if that I sometimes deal with even to this day of like, what if? But again, it's like accepting our story today, you know? Like, I love where I'm at today, and I'm right where I'm supposed to be, but there are these moments like like that are like, you know, getting kicked off. I mean, I was in Bellevue, and we were like, me and my buddy, we were in Inglemoor. It's a East Side school. It's like coming from the inner cities of Seattle and going to the East Side to play sports. It was as if you're going to a college coming from a high school. And I remember bringing my pipe. And I remember bringing some weed and being like, look, the JV game's going to be at this time. And then we're going to smoke during that game, get high, and then play some soccer on the varsity team. So we walk down this trail. It's a dead-end trail. And we're smoking. And all of a sudden, little state trooper dude parks at the end of the dead end. The only way out. And we're like, oh, shit. And I throw the weed and I throw the pipe, and I'm like, oh, no. And we're high. Again, it's fun. But at this point, it's not like I can't control it like I did as a later user. And so we walk down. He's like, hey, what's up, guys? What you doing? And we're like, oh, shit.
Just hanging out?
Yeah, just hanging out in the dead end in the forest on the east side. Like Seattle kids. Well, you know, we got Roosevelt, like, warm-ups on. And man, he puts my friend in the back of the car, like lickety split, separates us real fast. And he's like, so what do you got? He's on me. Yeah. And my friend's upset. He's emotional at this point. Yeah. He's not necessarily built for this particular issue. Yeah. And so he is having a moment, and I'm like, dude, calm down in there. Everything's fine. And then he just pats me down and finds this little nugget of weed. And all of a sudden, his hands get tight on my wrist. Boom, into handcuffs I go. Mm-hmm. He's like, what are you guys doing here? And I'm like, man, listen, we're about to play this game over here. Like, just be cool, man. Let us go. We're cool. We're done. We're done smoking. Just let us go. We'll go back. He was like, no, this is what you guys got to do. You got to go get your coach. I said, Viet, shout out to Viet. I had to go get my coach and be like, this is an ex-Sounder player, right? I got to go get him and bring him. I'm like, so we go into the stadium, Inglemoor Stadium. JV's playing. Hey, I go, hey, man, Viet, come here. We got to, what's up, man? You got to come outside. You got to come outside, bro. Because we have no guardians. And so he's like, this is your only guardian because you're on the east. I don't have my parent. So then, long story short, he releases us to our coach. We get suspended for 2 games, but it was never the same. It was never the same. And, you know, smoking weed and playing soccer, smoking weed and playing baseball, smoking weed and playing basketball. I used to think I was better after I had smoked. I mean, and so it was this false reality of like, I look back on that moment, those moments, and they're like, man, like if I didn't smoke, we might, you know, you and me might have been pretty damn good at what we were doing and taking a different path. Yeah. Yeah. And so, so when you get kicked off the team, what do you end up doing? Like at this point, your sports are done. Yeah.
Well, like you know, the brutal thing about that too is like my mom and my dad, they were driving with
to see you.
Well, so they were like, we were all flying. The team was flying, right? My dad is like, I can't fly right now. He's got this health condition, right? So he's already like driving 3/4 of the way
to Florida to see you play. Yeah.
And I'm like talking on the phone with him in the back of the trooper's car. And I'm like, and he's like, I'm turning around right now. Like, call Bilo. He's our coach. Sorry, Bilo.
Yeah. Sorry, Viet, but it's cool. Yeah, we're doing good over here.
Anyway, I call my coach. He's like, I gotta let you go, man. Like, right. It was brutal. Like,
gotta do it.
It's a small town too, real small town. I remember like the whip got cracked by my stepdad at that time, and he's like, you know, I just remember how like angry he was like the next day when I was handing my uniform. Like my whole team's like lining up to go on the bus and like go to the airport, and like I'm like bawling my eyes out, like handing in my uniform, you know, like, and my dad just like, I could just feel his frustration and anger, and like he's like, that shit. Why do you want to do that shit? Right. You know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Like, and
my dad calls it the foo-foo. Like, why do you want to smoke foo-foo, man? Like, dude, I don't know, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, he's never done that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, he's just like, he just was so angry, so disappointed, you know? Yeah. And like, but there was this moment where he was just like, you know, I want better for you, you know what I mean? Like, and I could like feel like he like had this idea like that the direction you're gonna go down if you keep doing this is not gonna, like, you're not gonna like it, you know? And like I could feel that off of him. And I was like looking for jobs like at gas stations the next day, right? Because like it's like, go get a job,
right?
You know? And people were like reading my name in the paper like that, like in that gas station, like, oh, you see Riazzi here? He's like big name in my town too. Like it was just like that magnifying glass, like that shame and that guilt. Oh man, and like my buddy got kicked off the team too, right? And like his family hates me. Yeah, you know, because like I'm the ringleader. Right. Well, I would hope water's under the bridge at this point. You know, I definitely sincerely apologize to that family.
Yeah.
You know, but that was like the first consequence. It wasn't the most major consequence I got, but like that was like the first taste of like, you know, what my use is gonna open the door to, you know.
That's crazy,
And
right?
It's like loss of opportunity.
Yeah,
right?
and we keep going.
Yeah.
That's the other part. It's like the insanity of it all to me is always like the consequences come, but we still, for some reason, I keep going. I'm like, man, it'll be there. Listen, I just won't do it that way anymore. I'll change this. I'll tune this up. Yeah. I'll switch to a different drug or drink or whatever.
Yeah.
And so it didn't come across my mind of like, maybe I should stop. You know, like maybe I should just stop and stay stopped and never do this again.
Yeah.
It might have came across the table, but it was quickly removed and to continue to try. Because everybody's doing it. If everybody can do it, this idiot over here can do it.
Yeah.
I should be able to do it and control it and be able to like not go to a school and hotbox in the car and do these things that will get me in trouble.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think like I felt the pain from that, and like I was kind of, you know, was goody two shoes there for a little while.
Come on, man.
And
right.
then
you stopped for a while.
Yeah.
And
I think like 4 or 5 months later, I was just like right back to, you know, having fun again.
Right.
You know, and it's like I did get a chance to play on another team. It was great, but like yeah, I still really regret that. You know, it's like my last year of high school baseball.
Yeah.
You know, that's like it's just gone, man. And like that was a painful way to lose it.
Yeah.
You know, it's like just the timing and like just like the like 180, like turn this bus around.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then this stops and you got to shift into something else. Because at this point, the sports, or at least baseball, stops.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, you know, after like my last opportunity playing with American Legion baseball, which is like, you know, like early college age kids, right? Playing, I go to school, you know, I got into Boston University. Luckily that didn't get affected by that.
That's what's up. Right.
Yeah.
Right. You were definitely afraid of that though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know what it was going to impact, you know, like, but given that, like, you know, I came from a well-known family, I came, you know, it's a small town and I had good grades. I had a lot of like people that I was privileged.
They were going to vouch for you.
Yeah. Right. Like I know him, I know his family.
Yep.
He's a good kid.
Just a little error.
He's a good kid.
It's
He's did
cool.
a stupid thing, right?
Yeah.
Like
we all do it. That's cool. Yeah.
Right. And it felt like that. It felt like, I don't have a problem. I just made a really dumb mistake. You know? But like getting tight at the exactly wrong time, right? And like like I'm
yeah, they talk about
anyway,
that.
Yeah, they talk about that.
Yeah. So then all right, Boston.
Yeah.
Let's go to college.
Go to school.
I want to hear about this because one of my one of my biggest experiences in my entire life is when I traveled to Tufts University.
Oh,
so I went to Tufts. So my friend, he was going to Tufts, and I was at Seattle Central Community College at the time, and I was studying art. And at Laura, I had a class in art, and they had a Van Gogh exhibit in Boston, the Boston Museum, and my friend was like, "Man, come out here, stay for a few days, and have some fun." And I remember going out there, and it was I'd never really been outside of this circumference of Seattle or Washington. I might have been to Portland, been to Vancouver. I'm just in this little circle of, and I've never experienced. I don't have to this day. I don't have a passport. Yeah. I'm working on that. Yeah, like it's not a legal
about
thing.
To be international.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah. I mean, at some point, I got to get ready to go.
Yeah.
So I travel out to Boston, and I get on. Well, first of all, there's these women there that are like, "Hello, And I'm like, oh, no way. They talk to me here? Like in Seattle,
Yeah.
I feel like
It's a little different there.
Yeah, it was like my pro. Look, man, that's what I mean. I had to have a couple drinks because at this point, it's when I was younger. That was the only way I would get to talking to women or girls at the time.
Yeah.
And that's one of the biggest parts of my story was when I would drink, I could talk. I could like take all the stuff that's up here and like speak these thoughts and feelings to the women that I admired or thought were attractive or whatever. And so then, and they were responsive. Like it wasn't like, oh man, you're just a drunk, old, ugly young man. It was like, oh yeah, what's up? And you're like, oh no, I need more of this in my life.
Yeah.
And so I go out to Tufts, and these women are there, and I'm just having a blast. I forget the kind of alcohol, absinthe. Yeah, so like you put absinthe in a spoon, and you put some sugar on it. You light it on fire, and you take a little like it's. I tried it with my friend, and because he was like, Pete, I got some absinthe, and it's. I mean, everybody check it. Google it. But the point was,
you went straight there,
dog.
Yeah,
we went. It was like heroin on a spoon, but it was alcohol, and you light it on fire. I mean, it was a whole thing, and I didn't even get loaded. Like it wasn't like I started seeing. Apparently, you're supposed to.
It's like witchcraft, dude.
Yo, so we're in his dorm, we're doing that, but we're out partying, we're meeting girls, but it was this experience of Boston that changed my life to know that there are other places outside of Seattle that are different and popping.
Oh yeah.
And so it got me like that taste that I remember trying to think to myself how I needed to start a nonprofit that brought people to different cities that were just stuck in like Seattle. Like, hey man, we're gonna get all these young men and we're gonna go to Boston. And it was all my idea, guys. So anyway, so you go to Boston University. So yeah.
I love that idea.
Oh, dude, it was like, I mean, think about all the kids that don't have the means to travel.
Yeah.
Right? And like what traveling or what those experiences did for you to like turn on the creative juices of like, oh, there's more than just this little area.
Yeah.
Like some people don't go outside out of the bubble. Yeah. They don't have the means to do that. So then they're just stuck in this bubble.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So you go to Boston.
Yeah, man. And Boston's crazy, right? Because it's like, it's got more than 75 colleges within like that, such a small vicinity, right? So it's like it's a college city.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like freedom for the first time, I guess, like getting out of my small town, getting out of like my home life, which was was pretty strict and locked down, especially after the whole weed incident. But even beforehand, like, it was very, I was not like allowed to go see my friends the way I'd like to have been able to, it's like kind of locked down. But now I'm in Boston and like I'm in control of like all these new relationships I get to make, and like, oh, they got fraternities here. Maybe I'll join one of those. Like, and that's when drinking turned up like a lot. Like, I'm still like my freshman year, I'm still very grades focused, and like, I'm in like a 6-year program to like be a doctor of physical therapy.
Okay.
And like,
that was what you were trying to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And athletic training and physical therapy. I thought like, I really wanted to help people, and I really love sports. How can I combine those two? Right. So yeah, I'm studying that. And like, I'm in a big city, like, but that absence of structure that I had in my home life, like once I got to Boston, that really affected me, because like then it was just like whatever the monkey mind sees and like wants to do, I'll do it. Like I remember I'd start drinking more and more, and like I'd start skipping classes, and like I had this moment where we were like we were going out but as part of a class to like some rock climbing gym.
Oh man.
And like I like was getting hammered before that, and like my flatmate, he was like, dude, like you're pulling drinks out of a vodka bottle like at 8 a.m. Like,
right?
Don't alcoholics do that? And I was like, nah, man. Like, it's just like, it's like
I'm gonna go have fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna go rock climbing. Like, yeah, and like on trips home, like the party would continue too, right? Like I'd meet up with my high school buddies, and like my homie, my best friend, his family had a keg of Molson Ice, like always on tap. And so I'd go there any chance that I could get, you know what I mean? Like, and yeah, I'd do that stuff more and more. And like, I'm always like looking for an opportunity to go out, and it still is like, under the guise of it being fun. Right. But like, around my sophomore year, it really started like becoming clear to me, like stuff that I'd gone through with my dad, like really had affected me. And like, that identity crisis started to come through, man. Like I noticed this like longing for like, I don't know who I am. Like, and I think it's like more of a spiritual awakening, even though it was dark, like, and it was a lot of pain was around that, and like depression and just kind of like this, like that like yearning for something, right? Like these answers, like, and I just felt like I didn't know myself, and like I could tell that I was like just latching on to things that would give me momentary, like a sense of pleasure, bliss, whether it be like women or drinking or, I started like fooling around with prescription drugs too, mainly like Adderall and like uppers.
Adderall is a trip, huh?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I used to think I was like so good at, it was the drug that in high school, I got a taste of it.
Yeah.
And my friend was like, Pete, I got ADHD. So I take this and it calms me down. And I'm like, oh yeah? I think I got ADHD too. I think, I'm all over the place. And I just remember trying it. And I like my jaw's clenched. I'm like, can't eat. My physical ailments that are happening when I'm taking it, like the side effects are terrible. And I can't sleep, but I'm doing all my homework. I'm getting everything done.
Locked in, dude.
I remember writing my senior,
like 4 times.
My senior paper was on Adderall. I was like, I found this drug that has now allowed me to focus, and this is the best thing that has ever happened to me. And can't you tell this is the best thing because I'm actually turning in this paper. Like, this is
you were experiencing the effects of alcohol.
I was having a spiritual experience on this shit. Little did I know I'm on meth, but I mean, some people use it in the right way. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that, but I was geeked.
Yeah,
I was geeked on because I manipulated a doctor to get Adderall. Mm-hmm. Like there was this questionnaire, this 80 question questionnaire. Like, Pete, go fill this out.
Yeah,
and I remember seeing, the questions were like, do you feel like you can't focus? Oh, like meaning I saw which way to answer the questionnaire that I would get the Adderall.
Yeah.
And so I filled it out and I get it, and terrible things started to happen.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Right. Like, I mean, like there's definitely people who like need it. Like,
yeah.
I'm like taking the extended release ones and crushing them up on my toilet and fucking snorting them. To write music and skip my class, man. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I did.
Yeah, like some cats, I guess, take them like when they're supposed to, and like the amount they're supposed to, and like more power to them. But that was not my story.
Yeah.
So you started kind of dabbling in that.
Yeah. And at the same time, I really got into making music. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
What kind of music?
Hip hop.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I love growing up in New York, like you have a lot of like history in that regard, right? Just the East Coast in general. Like I really loved like 90s hip hop, Nas, it's like a Tribe Called Quest, like some of like the neo soul, Busta Rhymes, like Mos Def. Like I love that music, and I was just like, I had all these like things coming at me, right? Like stuff about my childhood that was really disturbing me, and like this creative thing that's new, and like I'm like, why would I study this thing and like go down this path for 6 years when I found this joyful like creative outlet that I want to like put all of my ducks into, and seemingly like I can drink and like use drugs and it makes me feel like I'm even better at it, right?
Oh, for sure. My flows are better. Yeah, everything's
Dude,
better.
I thought like drinking and drugging was a requirement for like that. Like,
I mean,
for being a musician, like it's like
it's posterized.
Yeah.
Like that kind of.
I need to drink.
Right. This is the only way I'm going to be. The greats do this.
Yeah. Right. Louis Armstrong.
Yeah. I mean, come on, man. Like this is what we're going to do.
All of them, right?
Yeah.
And just like it felt like the path like that I needed to be on, right? And like, but I guess like all of this stuff is happening concurrently, and I'm seeing this girl who's just like stone cold fox, bro, like just beautiful, and like I felt like head over heels for her, and like we're doing drugs together, we're hanging out, I'm staying over at her place, I'm like skipping class to like hang out with her and all this stuff, and like it doesn't work out between us, like like just doesn't work out. But I took it so hard, dude, like, and that was like the catalyst for me of like just going off the deep end. I remember I took a bunch of acid, drank like a bottle of Jameson, and like just wandered around Boston. I thought people were chasing me. And I like just lost my shit, dude. Like lost my shit. And like reality from that point onward just seemed like so fucking much for me. Like I was just like, I feel like, I need answers about my father, about my heritage, my culture. I don't know who I am. And plus like stuff that went on between me and my stepdad growing up, I'm like, I'm not cool with this. And I'm realizing that's really affected me. And, I'm a mess. I'm like, I'm head over heels for this girl and she don't like me and I love her, and like, what the hell's going on? And I'm like, just angry and like, feeling everything to like 11, and just like shutting down, like with anything like that's like real, like about my responsibilities there, about like the thing, what I signed up for, all of it's just like too much, dude. And I have to drop out of school shortly after, like I couldn't get it back together. Like my head was spinning for like a month, and like I'm just chain smoking cigarettes and like fucking and bumming all the drinks, and because I'm like broke, I'm a college student, like just bumming off of people, right? And just like I stayed in my homies had like a high rise like dorm room, like really nice, like you could get like really cool like dorms in Boston University, right? Like, and they had like this studio apartment, like, and like I'm just like sleeping on their couch. I have a dorm that I could go to, but I'm like just crashing on their couch, like playing video games, like drinking, smoking, like all their shit mostly, right? And like making a fool out of myself too. Like just I would go out and like I remember I got too drunk at a pregame, and like 9 o'clock, I woke up and all my friends are going out. I'm like on the toilet. I have like long hair at the time, and my hair is like sitting in the toilet bowl, bro. Like grimy, like and like my friends are just like all like looking at me, like taking a picture of me. I'm just like, we're going out, dude. Like,
good luck. Have a good one. Yeah, you partied like, a little early.
Yeah, man. Right. I'm like, and I'm just like a vacuum of like whatever, like, whatever.
You're a numbing vacuum.
I'm escaping.
Right. Exactly.
That's like a big thing for me, dude, is like realizing it's like can call it addiction. I can call it alcoholism. But the big one for me is escapism, bro, because it's like, what is it that I'm running from in reality? It's like, and so like we get into that with like fear and like,
well, like alcohol and drugs are a symptom.
Yeah.
Like it's just what's the underlying, you know, our job in recovery is to find out the underlying stuff. Like what makes me drink? What makes me get high? Why would I want to do? What are the things that cause me to want to do all of this?
Yeah.
Like that's where we're at. Is like once you remove the drugs and the alcohol, we're left with ourselves.
Yeah.
Like without the pacifier, without that calmness or the escape.
Yeah.
Right? We don't have an escape. We're just sitting now with all of that.
Yeah.
And
how do you process that?
how do you, especially when you're just like alone and you've never really shared your story with people, and you know, how do you even start to navigate that stuff? And I think that's one of the biggest things that leads back to relapse is like not being able to know a path to dissect all of that stuff and not get loaded.
Yeah.
You know, like all that stuff is so burdensome, but we have no way, you know, the only way I knew of getting that stuff off of my back was to get loaded.
Yeah.
That was my tool.
Straight up
It's my tool.
cover.
Yeah. So then you go back, or do you go back to Woodstock?
I go back home and
shit.
and
That was tail between the legs, huh? A little bit.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at this point, like, you know,
does your stepdad and mom want you in the house?
Yeah, I mean,
they okay with that?
They want me to be okay, you know, like
Right.
they want, you know, as much as like I had issues with my stepdad and like I was started to be vocal about that and like trying to talk to him about that stuff, like he's like, you know, hey, like, and this is like a big financial like hit, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Because at this point you're not
well,
completing it. Yeah.
Beer's expensive.
Yeah.
My man.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of loans that, you know, like got get taken care of. And like my dad, you know, because of the grades I got, my stepdad, he's like, you know, we're gonna get you to be you. You know, it's like I had an opportunity there and I squandered it.
Yep.
You know, as much as I could say about like it just wasn't the path for me or whatever, but the reality is I bailed on an opportunity because I didn't take care of myself, right?
Yep.
And I, you know, there's a lot that goes into that. Like I just didn't know like what I wanted in life. I never like even really honestly asked myself that. And like you said, there's no roadmap to this stuff. Like there's no like navigating just like reality and like what it demands of you is difficult, man.
Yep.
And so yeah, I go back home. I'm still a mess, and you know, like it's made pretty clear to me that like I need to be sober or like take a break at least, right? Like especially just, you know, get my head on my shoulders screwed on again, right? Like and you know, I haven't even turned 21 yet, right?
Ooh.
Like and
Shit.
yeah, and I turned 21 and like, dude, that's when all the drinking and driving starts happening. Like,
What are some consequences that happen?
Oh man, I mean, when I was 23, I flipped my truck, dude, and like at 3:00 in the afternoon. So the reason I say like at the time, it's like my brothers are in elementary school at the time, and like the route that I'm on is like the route their bus, you know, comes home, right? And I like have a really special relationship with my brothers. Like I love them, and like, you know, there's a 15-year age gap between us, and it's like I'm big bro, you know, and you know, I get into this fight with my mom, and I just go in the woods and like start pounding the bottle. And like, you know, it was like this swamp I would go to and like just fucking just like, play my music in my truck and just like,
shit.
yeah, and just like dark, my dark and brooding swamp,
dude.
Hey,
while it's daylight. Yeah, like we're
3 o'clock.
We're getting funky right now,
3
and
o'clock,
we're pounding it, and
And I leave in my truck, and like I just black out, dude. And the next thing I remember, like I remember pulling out onto the road, and the next thing I remember is my truck just like full flipping, like I had gone off of this ditch and jumped and like corkscrewed, and like I shouldn't have walked away from this, dude. Like my truck, I went limp, right? Because I was just gone.
Probably not buckled. Were you buckled?
No, I just ragdoll, dude, and that probably saved my life.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, my truck was like dented, like the roof was like there's a huge dent, like this is where my head is, and like that's where the truck got dented into. It's like the paramedics came, dude, and they were just like, "Are you sure you're okay? Like, can we we need to look at you, like, because I'm just like walking around like I'm sorry, like I'm drunk." Like I'm honest from the jump with everybody. I'm just
you seem like a very honest person. Yeah, like
I just knew my shit was nuts. Like, dude, like me and my mom, like, and like it just got like I was so angry, man. I couldn't understand like why I was alive, and like like that's what I was grappling with, man. Like, why am I here? Like,
so I was like, what is your purpose?
Yeah. Why am I here? And like, if it didn't work out between you guys, like if you weren't up for the task, like why am I like, I was just so angry at them, man. Like my mom and my dad. And like, I remember my mom, like, she was like, Eli, I kept you. You know what I mean? Like just being real honest with me. Like I fucking kept you, and like saying like, that's how much I love you. Like I brought you into this. Like she was like, she wrote in a journal about like being pregnant with me and just like, like think about that one night stand with a complete foreigner to her, right? Like, and like what went into like her love for me, bro. And like, I just didn't understand. All I could see was just like, you failed. And then like, like both of you failed me. You know what I mean? It's like, and it's all because of like selfish reasons. That's what I was thinking, right? It's just like, you should work through that kind of shit,
right.
And it's like, and I'm just like so me, like I'm like so depressed.
Selfishness and self-centeredness is the root of our problem.
I wouldn't even admit that to myself either, too, right? Like it just felt like I was wrong.
It's this right here.
I was wrong.
Right, we're just pointing at, hey, look, everybody else is the problem.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah, it's not
me.
me.
I'm a victim.
It's not me.
Yeah.
Right.
I like my actions are justified because I'm so like.
I've been harmed. Yeah. Like this is whack. Like this is. Don't you guys understand? This is what's supposed to be happening because my life.
This is what happens.
Right.
Like,
So did your brother see you?
No, man. Okay. But like, just the thought of like, I'm literally like flipping my truck when a school bus with my brothers could be like. I'm so like thankful. Like I didn't hit anybody. I didn't like. I could have killed somebody. And there's like, dude, like if we're talking about DUIs, like I should have fucking 150 of those.
Same here. Yeah, same here. One of the things that you're pointing out though is what a lot of people they get life in prison.
Yeah.
For things like that they black out and they kill people while they're driving, or there's instances and then they wake up in jail and they got to go to the guard and be like, excuse me. Like, why the fuck am I here right now? Oh, you went the wrong way down the freeway. And you had a head-on collision where you killed a family. Yeah. So you're done. You're done.
Yeah.
And these people, to this day, are in prison because of that type of behavior. And that's one of the things that keeps me sober today. It's like knowing that I'm that type of drunk. Yeah. I don't know where, when I take a drink, the drink takes me, and I don't know where I'm going to go because it's going to go. Yeah. And I have no control over it. I have no control over it. And so that's one of the biggest, these are the fears that I've always had of like, well, and so then every time that I would get into these accidents and just like you're talking about, it like, look, I got a little scratch. Like I'm
Yeah.
I'm
Just the
alive.
luckiest
Like
person
I little,
ever,
like
dude.
I get a little nugget on my knee and a bruise and but like I'm invincible. I'm invincible. And so, 23 happens. You know,
Yeah.
this incident happens, and you have to. I'm guessing you had to go to jail, or you had to. You plead out of that, or
no
you?
jail.
Yeah, look at
I
that.
blew a point once, dude. The cop, like, I think, like, just being honest and like he could tell I was like fucked up, like,
Yeah.
just.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know what happened. Like, if I got some sympathy, or again, if the name that I have helped out, but like I blew a .17, which I think was like 1 point away from aggravated, and the cop, like, he like waited out that breathalyzer. I think like he just like kind of sat me there and like I don't know if that helps or if like
Oh, it does.
right, like
100%.
yeah, like my blood alcohol
Your time,
probably
your
went
time
down.
goes down.
Yeah. So repercussions are I lose my license. And for me that was fine. It's like I was just like, dude, and like that happened. I was like riding around on a bike and I was like getting rides from some girls that, like
Codependency is thriving.
And hey, can we go pick up some beer?
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah.
Just
I'm not even driving anymore. Like this is great. Like now you
man.
can be my taxis. Right.
Yeah. And I was like, again, I was like playing baseball in junior college back home now. I'd like did like business classes and like, but I wasn't really fucking, like, I had no idea what I was doing still. And like showing up to class drunk still. Just lost,
So then where's the turn? Where do we start to get sober, or attempting to?
Yeah.
Like where does
I still
this
needed more pain there.
Okay. Yeah, of course. Like, yeah.
I'm still like just angry at everyone else, right? And the real turning point was like I'd been in a relationship. I moved to Manchester, New Hampshire, and like started working out there. I had a job opportunity to work at a theater, and it was like a way for me to be around music and like get to be behind the scenes, do some stage work, and kind of like get acquainted with that world of like performing, live performing, all that stuff. And it was a good opportunity. People hooked me up with that, and like, I meet a girl out there. We move into with each other like in like 2 months of us dating each other, dude, and codependent. And like I'm hiding drinking. I was always hiding drinking, dude. I'm hiding from her. I'm drinking at work. Just and then mentally falling apart. And it's like whenever I drink, dude, I go to that raw emotional place of like, I'm so mad at like what happened with my dad, my story, dude. Like just this, I go into this narrative of myself of like,
it's almost like you turn into that young boy.
Yeah.
Like my therapist has talked about, like, she'll stop me sometimes and be like, how old did you feel? Like, how old did you feel when you were feeling what you were feeling in that circumstance?
Yeah.
And there's these moments where it's just very simple. I felt 5. I felt 7. I felt 4. I felt like that little boy that like just had no one fighting for me. I felt alone. I felt, why me? Why wasn't I the rich kid? Why wasn't I the, so then, yeah, these, especially during those moments. So then you would go into these places when you would drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I started to become like a really volatile dude. And like, that's just not my nature.
Yeah.
But I like, that's where drinking started bringing me, man. It's like, I got so angry. And then like took it out on my partner, and she's like, I'm going to go sleep on the couch. I'm not dealing with this. It's like, and I just like, I lose my shit, dude. And like, she's like, you need to get out of here. Like, I'm kicking you out. And like, I'm starting to pack up my shit, and I just like, I'm fed up, dude. I'm ready to end it. And like, I go to the kitchen and I cut my wrist, like right in front of her, and like as soon as I see blood and like it hurts pretty bad, I'm like, you know, I just fall and like crumple onto the floor and just wait there, like all right, whatever, like if call whoever you need to, like I'm ready to like leave, you know, like I don't know I don't know what to do anymore, you know, and like they bring me to a psych ward.
Have you ever been to rehab?
No.
Yeah, that was
No.
Congratulations. Like,
I mean,
you would have gone at this point. Yeah,
like,
now looking back, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Knowing
what you know now.
Who knows?
Right.
But like,
not today. It's okay. All right, well, one day at a time. Here we go. Yeah.
Yeah, dude. I started working with a sponsor, this great guy. And you know, he had 25 years, and he started when he was 25, and I was 25 at the time, right?
Yeah.
Like
he had what you wanted.
Yeah, right. And he's fly.
Oh,
you
here
know,
we go.
like
okay.
He's fit, like he's in his 50s, like fit, sober, like
he's on that
like,
testosterone.
I don't know.
Yeah, but he's fit.
He sure seems like it, right?
Yeah.
And he's like popular with the women, dude. And I'm like, dude, there it is. Like, there's my sponsor, you know?
Yeah.
And like, I remember the first thing, like our first interaction is like we complimented each other on our shoes. We're like, you got some nice shoes on.
Yeah,
like,
that's how it usually starts. So, I mean, that's how the approach works. Some sort of interesting compliment to each other. Like, hey, brother, yeah. But anyway, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he was what I wanted at that time, right? And you know, working the steps with him, I got up to 8, and like I started to feel like okay, there's a path for me here, you know, like there's a different way, and like I feel like grounded in like doing this now. It's like, and man, I like those first couple weeks though were brutal, man. Like I'm like walking everywhere. I'm walking like 10 miles a day, dude. Like, you know, like no car, nobody really to be codependent on.
Right. You really wanted it.
Yeah.
You wanted to stop.
Yeah. I'm going to like IOP. I'm like the first one, like putting my hand up in the group shares.
Yeah,
like,
you're raw.
I'm ready, dude.
Yeah.
Like I'm
you're
getting
the
sober.
#1 student, front of the class.
Yeah.
We're doing this.
Yeah. And I get up to step 8. And the first person I pick is that girl, right?
Oh, so you're gonna tell us? Keep going. These are the moments where go ahead. So you picked the girl.
I picked the girl.
One of the hardest ones, I'm guessing, in all of the ones that you have.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. You know, I do the best that I can at that time. Looking back on it, I wish I had done it completely different. But and I think I hopefully get a chance to actually really do that.
100%.
But a lot of my motivation there was just for her to like see that I was okay.
Yeah.
You know, and like,
did it go the way you thought it would go?
No.
Yeah.
No. Again, like I don't think I had a good grasp on like what step 8 and 9 were really about, you know, like it's not about me, you know, like really letting go of that. I think like I realize now that I did not do like that.
Yep.
And
that's one of the biggest.
It's a big learning mistake, you know, like opportunity, but it didn't go the way I wanted it to. And like shortly after, I was just like, what's the point of this? You know, It's like, I'm fine. Like I'm 25. I'm like, and like, maybe I just needed a break. And like, you know, at the same time, like I started like applying, you know, spiritual principles to my life and like the story I had been telling myself. Right. And it's like, I had a lot of anger towards my stepdad for, you know, things that, you know, I just like, I don't really want to get into like into detail, but like I was angry at that man. And I, you know, like I thought we were going to be angry at each other for the rest of our lives kind of thing, you know, and I was just going to be like, you know, and like, I'll deal with you cause you're my brother's dad and you're my mom's husband. But like,
I kind of hate you.
Yeah, but I start applying these things to like these relationships and like, you know, start realizing just like all of like the bullshit that comes along with being a human being, and like not just for me but for everybody. And like, you know, and not to excuse like, you know, there's things that I wish that I realize it shouldn't have happened to me, right? But like I can start to like find forgiveness, and I can start to like with him, my mom, my dad, which was really important for me, like for like my sanity, and like for just like to get that rock off, like that weight that I had on me off of me, you know. And so there's good things happening from the program. I'm like, okay, I did this forgiveness part, like I think I'm good. Like, I think that's all I needed to do, you know?
Right.
And like, I can probably find out how to drink and drug again and be okay.
Uh-huh.
And it's like,
I got this.
Yeah.
I got this. All right. It's the thought. One of our members talks about how it's centered in our mind.
yeah.
Like we start to our mind starts to tell us that it's okay to try again.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be different. We're clean. We haven't drank. We haven't drugged. You're young. You know, there's these moments where it's just our mind tells us, I got it, man.
Yeah.
Especially, this is what used to happen to me. I'd look around and be like, well, if they can do it, that guy, if he can do it, I can do it.
Yeah, for sure.
I can do it. How that guy? That guy?
He's got a problem. I don't got a problem.
Look at this guy. That's not me. I got everything. He's a bum.
Yeah.
You know, he is a bum, and he is thriving.
Yeah.
In this area in which I cannot get a hold of.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with you so 100%, dude. Like, the comparing, the I've done enough, like, you know, I've done so much work, like, fuck, man, I'm good, like.
I mean, one of the things too is like when you hear somebody else's story and you're like, oh man, you're really fucked up, man. That's you really need this. And you know what? I'm not that bad. Like I remember hearing one time I was in rehab and this guy was talking about, he was sitting right next to me. I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know, I remember I was throwing this fit about how I'm in here for pills. Like, I'm in here for pills, and you want me to... I'm not an alcoholic. I am not. I drank one Heineken as my last drink of my life. And that was a couple weeks ago, okay? So I don't have a drinking problem. I got a drug problem. I got pills. That's why I'm here. I need to be doing... And I remember this guy, he's sitting next to me, and he's like, yeah, so, you know, one of my last week I was smoking meth out of a light bulb. And I look over and I'm like, yeah, he needs the 30-day program. I need the 2-weeker because this is not, this guy's got a problem.
Yeah.
Like he needs meth out of a light bulb, bro. I was like, no. I remember telling my wife on my way to rehab, this is one of my favorite stories to tell, which was, I remember telling her on the way to rehab, like, I called them and they accepted me, and I go to Lakeside. I get off the phone and they accept me, and I'm like, yeah. So they're saying like it's a 28-day program, but I think I'm on a 14-day program. And she was like, who said that? I was like, me. I was like, I'm gonna get the short stay.
Yeah.
Short stay. I think there must be something called a short stay. It's 30 days? No. That's too, I just got a little bit of a problem.
Yeah.
Like I'm talking about a little bit of a problem.
I just need a slight course correction.
Yeah, I'm doing like 20, 30s a day, and like, you know, I got a little bit of a problem. And I just remembered it's like my own thinking that still is trying to control it, even though I'm on my way to a inpatient treatment because I can't stop. So you're going I'm guessing you go back out.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I go back out.
What is that day? Can you just replay a day that people call it, it's like a build up to that relapse?
Yeah.
But like that day, what's going on for you? If you can remember.
Yeah, so I started living with like a really good friend of mine, and we're both like huge into music, right? We're making music.
Is he sober?
No.
Okay.
He's smoking blunts all the time, right? And like he's got a fucking dab pen, dude. The Benjamin. And and he's like, dude, this one's just it's just CBD, right? And dude, this like I've smoked so much, right? And so like to think like that a CBD pen would be like the key to my relapse at this time was just like so funny to me. You know, it's like, God,
I mean, CBD is sold at Bartell Drugs.
Dude,
like you can get the lotion and it's all
I don't think
good.
he was like, there's more than CBD in this shit, right?
He didn't,
for sure.
You didn't ask the right questions.
It might be like 50% CBD or something like that, right?
Yeah. You're like, yo, is there
like,
THC in it? Yeah.
Let me try it, man. I don't want to go like all the way. Like I'm still like trying to be sober and like, like I don't know. I'm like, I hit this thing and I'm like, I can like watch myself breathe, from like outside of my body. I'm just like, holy shit, like I'm fucking high. And I was like, high. And like, I like listen to the music. I'm like, oh my God, like this is amazing. And like, I get totally wrapped into it. And it's like, it starts with weed and then it becomes drinking. And then it becomes like, I'm best friends with the fucking corner store guy down the street. It's like, I'm like first name basis with,
him.
Yeah. Like the fried chicken / like, where I get my tall boys from. Like, and it just becomes like more and more depressing, over the course of a couple months. And it's like, and it's just like, I start repeating the same behaviors. I start everything that I feel like I had worked on with like, just forgiveness and like acceptance and
your spiritual principles.
Yeah, all the spiritual growth. It just like it just starts crumbling and like, I'm telling the same story I've been telling myself now for the last 20 years, right? And that just blew my mind, dude. Like how it can just throw you right back into like the cyclical, sick inner dialogue that like you were like, how they say your disease is doing push-up? That's like the biggest example of it for me. It's like right back, like, okay, let's pick up where we left off. You're a fucking piece of shit. And like,
they talk about that gorilla. A lot of people don't know that analogy. It's like the gorilla is doing push-ups in the parking lot. And it's out here just pumping, and it's just waiting for you to come back. And it's just getting stronger. And if you're not weakening that gorilla, it's just getting bigger and stronger. And before you know it, if you do try again, you go back down the hole.
Right back, dude.
Yeah.
And it starts getting like it's not fun anymore, right? Like it's like there might be like one fun time out of like 50, right?
Yeah. I call it like my best friends turned on me.
Yeah.
My best friend, my weed, my drink, my pills, whatever. All of a sudden there's that moment of like, gotcha.
Yeah.
And like it's fun. It was fun. And you start to hang your hat on those 1 times out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then when do you start
coming back around?
Yeah. Like,
man. I at this point I'm like, okay, I need to go and like sit down in front of my dad and like and get in front of him and like and try to just like I thought that was my issue. Is like it's all because of like this cultural or like this identity crisis that I like, I'm still not willing to say like that it's just alcoholism or that it's just addiction that's my problem. It's like, no, it's like I have these deep issues, right?
Yep.
And I think I do, like on some level, like these are things that I needed to do, right? Like, and like, but I wasn't willing to just like to treat my alcoholism at that time. So, but I come out here. This is, little over 5 years ago, 2019, summer of 2019.
Okay.
and I live with my dad in my basement, and it's like one of the best things that I possibly ever could have done. Like, you know, just like starting from like square one, it felt like with him, you know, and like getting to know who he's become, and like him seeing who I've become, and like, you know, just like
It was like a healing. It was a bit of healing.
Oh my God, for both of us, you know, it's like there was this one moment, like, you know, about a year or two after we started living with each other, where he's just like you really gave me closure, you know. It's like, because he was beating himself up for years over how like that stuff went with, you know, my mom, and it's like, and I wouldn't have known all this if I hadn't like, if honestly, if like AA hadn't opened the door for me to like pursue this kind of reconciliation, right, and like this like forgiveness, and like this I like this acceptance of like, yeah, that's my dad, and like and to see so much of him, like I'm his son, like, and there is probably a genetic familial aspect to like what I got going on too, and he struggled with the same stuff that I do, and like he's got a different answer for those struggles, but you know, for me, like I get that solution from AA now, but
yeah, like we don't have a monopoly on sobriety.
Yeah.
It's just dope, right?
Yeah.
I mean, however anybody gets it.
Yeah, man.
And more power to you.
Yeah.
Like it's the hardest thing I've ever done is to get sober.
Absolutely.
You know, for me.
But so like that stuff's amazing, right? But like I still like won't give up. Smoking is the big thing, right? And then like the more I leave the door open just for smoking, it's like other shit starts creeping in. It starts getting weirder, right? Like,
yeah,
you know, like I never thought I was gonna go down the hard drug path, right?
Yep.
But that door starts getting greased up more.
Yep.
And like
you start going into little social atmospheres that have extra stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I live in this house with like 9 dudes after I leave my dad's place, right?
Okay.
It's like middle of the pandemic too, so people are losing their shit.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
People aren't working, and I'm in this house with 9 dudes who, let's just say, aren't like, you know, setting any records for like social like
success.
Yeah, just like any sort of success, right?
Yeah.
And one of them considers himself a shaman. I'll just put it that way. And he's like this 39-year-old white dude.
Yeah,
like,
I'm a shaman.
Who grew up in a cult.
Yeah.
And you know, all respect to him. I hope he's doing well. But like he was doing all kinds of drugs. You know, I'm like doing DMT, I'm doing ketamine, I'm doing coke. You know, he's got me plugged in with a coke guy, and like I'm just like, I can't hold down a job now. You know, I keep calling, like, no matter what I do, like I'm depressed all the time. I'm like, you know, just kind of just like just coasting through life, like, and finding like momentary pleasure after pleasure after pleasure, whether it's drugs or women. Again, it's like, you know, not really going anywhere, and just like slowly dying is how it felt like. I'm just like dying. Like,
yeah.
I might, and like, and I get linked up with, after I lose a job, I'm just like, shit, man, like I need help. Like, and like, and I'm like, you know, it's not enough to just not be suicidal anymore. You know, it's like, no, I need to fix this, you know?
Right, I need to give myself a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's like all the good things are great. Like, you know, having a better relationship with my father, you know, finding forgiveness for my stepdad, and like honestly, like really loving that guy, and like seeing all the ways that he was there for me, right? Like,
right.
Just, like all that I did learn from that dude, and like as tough as shit was, you know, it's like family's tough, man.
Yeah.
No matter what you do.
Dude, you hit it on the head right there. I used to think that this one of my friends, the one I visited in Tufts, I used to think that his family was really well off, and I went to live with them for a little bit out of high school and getting into college, and I remember getting there, And oh, dude, like the insanity of that family. Like we're talking about things that were just, it was hard. Like that family was on the outside, it portrayed this beautiful, put together situation. When I got placed in the middle of the intimacy, the actual day-to-day living, it was insane. And I learned that, oh, wait a second. I think whether you're portrayed on the outside as this great family or not, there are inside struggles that happen within all families.
Yeah.
It wasn't just mine that was messed up. It was, people have all struggles in all families.
Yeah.
You know, whether you, so you were able to, you know, or experience these forgiveness moments and you're giving yourself a shot.
Yeah.
And so you're like, all right, so then how do you, in Seattle, what do you do? Like what happened?
Yeah, man. It's the pandemic and like I'm finding all the meetings. I'm getting plugged in.
Oh, that's what, Zoom. Are you Zoom, baby?
I'm doing Zoom a little, not really, dude.
Okay, cool.
So I remember like when In the Work started, like I was like going to those meetings a lot. There was one at, in Green Lake that's like at the old bocce ball court that was going on. I would go to that one.
It's outdoors.
No, it was inside, but we'd all like have to mask up and have certain like capacity limits, right?
Yeah.
And then the skate meeting. You remember the skate meeting?
See, I never went,
dude.
But I remember. See, I don't skate, so I was always like, damn it, I can't go to a skate meeting and not be able to skate, bro.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was always what prevented me.
There was tons of people that didn't skate
I heard.
there.
That's why I just could never.
Bunch of kids that would go.
My ego was
cigarettes.
just like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I went to that. You know, and I started like, but the thing that was happening here was like, I still was just like, it's alcohol that I really got to quell down. And I was like, I still want to smoke. You know, it took me so long to be able to say like weed is a problem too. And I got to get rid of weed. Yeah. Because like, I just wasn't going anywhere with weed. And like I said, whenever I like left the door open for weed, sooner or later something else would come sneaking through because it's like it wouldn't be enough, like you were saying. And I'd be doing the dabs too.
I couldn't get high enough to like get this weight off of my back because eventually it would be creeping in sooner. Yeah. Sooner, and I'd try to get as high as I could. Yeah. High as I could.
Right.
And it wasn't enough.
Coughing so much off of those dabs that's just like honestly like uncomfortable. Like I'm just coughing. Like but
right. I'm not even getting higher.
I was like scraping they would have like a community dab rig at that place and I would like scrape all the fucking gunk off there and light that shit up. Like you talk about crackhead behavior.
Yeah.
Like,
that's where we go.
Yeah, and so I'm in the program, but I'm not really in the program. I work with 2 sponsors during that time. It's like 8 months that I like stay around and like I stop drinking. My life gets a lot better, right? And I'm like, you know, I think the problem is I just need to get a job, like a real career, you know, and I get the framing job. Yeah. And I love it, dude. And like,
you have no experience. That's when we were talking about earlier. You have no experience. You talk to him, one of our friends, and he lets you in on like, or you tell him, what was it? You were just
he just was like telling me how much he likes carpentry, and I'm like, you know what? Like,
I'm about to do that.
This guy's got this carpentry thing. Yeah. That's why he's doing so good.
Yeah, you know? It's the job. It's not sobriety. It's the job.
Yeah. And well, it's like I'm gonna not drink, and I'm gonna practice like spiritual principles. Yeah. But I'm just gonna smoke weed too.
Right, it's cool.
And and I do that. Like I don't drink for like another 8 months, but I'm like not in the program or anything. And like I'm workaholic now, and I find like all of my like identity through like being successful at work and like just being a good little worker bee. And then I start like making mistakes that like are normal, right? Like because I'm new to the trade and like I don't know everything, and it's like I actually have to put in a lot of effort to keep growing, right? And like and to keep growing. That's it, right? And that reality sets in, and like I don't do so well with like that feeling of not being perfect.
Imperfection.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And that turns to be like the real big trigger this time around. And like what really got me back into the rooms and like into a state of desperation where I'm willing to say I'm an alcoholic and I need to always remember I'm an alcoholic addict and like I need to like be in the rooms was I got hooked on kratom, bro. And they talk about like available at
7-Eleven.
drugstores, right? At
Smoke
gas
shops.
stations.
Gas stations.
Dude.
Anywhere.
And it says like buzzwords on it like all natural, plant remedy, right? And I'm like not drinking as much. I'm like, just dry on the drinking front and like just smoking, and I'm like you said, I'm just smoking, like, but I start doing this kratom and it's like an opiate and
in a high dose, right? You have to get you have to get
I was drinking the extracts,
right.
which is high dose, and
incredible that we're talking about this right now. Keep going.
I start doing this shit and my life falls apart so fast, like, and I'm in a relationship now at this point. I've been dating a girl for 3 years today.
And you're hiding it?
I'm hiding it.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, oh my God. So it'd be all these like little bottles, right? Like these little, I don't know.
Is it dust? Like we're talking about the ground up.
No, it'd be like expressed oil extract from that. So it's like high potency.
There's that stuff?
Yeah. And then, dude, these things are like, so it's like 4 milliliters, right? Like you're supposed to take half of it, 2 milliliters.
Right.
I drink the whole thing. Sometimes I do 2 a day, right? Sometimes I do 3 a day because like
you're feeling it.
Yeah.
Right.
And like,
you ever done kratom, Mondo? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, and I'm like, I'm functioning off of this stuff, but like when I'm not on it, like it's just like I'm going through withdrawal, like opiate withdrawal, but like to a lesser degree, but like it felt like that. Like, dude, getting clean of this stuff was so hard for me. Like, just like couldn't sleep, like temperature fluctuations and like just that sick feeling. I would throw up on it all the time, dude, and like I'd still like I would choose that and like not eating. It's like that. I started to see like that side of my addiction, just like, no, I'm really fucking like, I'll do anything to like get this feeling of like, and like I'm like I have no more excuses. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's like, no, it's not the family. It's not, like I'm in a great relationship. Like I got a good job. I got all this stuff. Like, what's wrong? Like, and like
I do know. Yeah.
I was like, hey, I'm done. I can't fight this anymore, and that was like, I'm so happy for that like feeling, dude. Like, cause like that was the key, man. It was just that feeling of being like done fighting and like, cause now I feel like I've found like home again. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and home is just like, is being honest with myself and like doing that with other people and like trying to love those people along the way. It's like, and dude, I think a big part of me was just like, I was just so ashamed to be an alcoholic or an addict, dude.
Oh, it's the worst quitting. Like when I had to quit and like throw in the towel, it was like that acceptance was hard. Yeah. So just to label people get all upset about labels and all that, but I know for myself, I'm a full blown alcoholic addict. Just for me, I know that, and I think that's all that matters. It's like if you know that, and if I know that, then we can find that common ground. But it used to be embarrassing. That's literally why we're doing this podcast. It's like to bring light to the fact that we've built beautiful lives sober.
Yeah.
And even though I claim that label, in my soul. I'm not embarrassed by it. I'm actually proud of it, knowing that there was a way out of this death spiral.
Oh my God, that's that's perfect the way you said it.
So what are you doing a day like today? Like what you do today? What's going on? Talk to me about.
Yeah, man.
Day sober.
I still got that job. You know, I was really honest with them and like told them like I was like, you know, I need to like get help, and like they were gracious enough to be like, yeah, like we want to support you in that, right? And so I have a really good relationship at work, and like I'm totally honest about like this part of my life and like how important it is to me, and like I talk about it with people if they ask me, you know. I'm a better partner, you know, like I have honest like conversations and actually communicate with my partner, and like you know, there was a lot of that was just not happening because like
numbed out.
There was nothing to talk about. Like I'm good. Like it's just like just don't bother me about what I'm like what I need to be good.
Just let me keep hiding this, and we're good. Yeah. Everything's fine here. Yeah.
You know, and it's like.
Did you get caught or did you admit it?
Oh, totally. By her.
Okay.
Yeah, dude. She found like all
your bottles and shit. Yeah,
dude.
Okay.
Oh man, it was.
What are these?
Yeah. It was just embarrassing, man. It's just like I'm like a squirrel with that shit. Always, I'm like, let me keep all my fucking. I never throw them out like for months, like, you know. Like,
I do know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, all about that. Yeah.
So
today you don't do that. You don't hide little bottles and you don't use little bottles and.
Of course not, man. Like I mean, like you said, I'm just trying to grow in all the things that like haven't been that I've like missed, and like, you know, like little things, even like just like let me take really good care of my teeth, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like, you know, now that I'm not drinking a bunch of sugar before I go to, which is an alcohol, right? Like, I honestly not brushing my teeth, right? Like, like let me make sure I got that squared away. And it's like once I get that squared away, it's like, okay, what else? What other things, right? And it's like just kind of like looking at all the ways that, you know, I can love myself better. Cause like, I feel like, you know, a big part of this is, like being of service. Right. Yeah. And like, I can only be of service if I like love myself.
Right.
Because when I'm not loving myself, it's like, what kind of capacity do I have for other people?
Right. You gotta love yourself, know your worth, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it's like, the next right thing, doing the next right thing, like that's, and some of it's easier than others, right? Like, a big part of like finding success in my relationship now with my girlfriend is like having difficult conversations, right? And like, you know, like getting to the root of like things that we need to communicate about. Like, you know, we're at the phase where it's like, what are we gonna do for our future? Like, you know, and it's like, and it doesn't really help me to like, you know, be super in the future, but like, how do I like make the most out of today? You know, it's like, what are we trying to accomplish today? Like,
it's just for today.
Future selves.
Right. It's just for today. Right. You know, one day at a time.
And that's, there's all sorts of distractions and things that like, you know, can get in the way of that sometimes, but, I feel like, you know, that's a thing that's like really improved in our relationship. And like, those are the things that I look towards for like, okay, like, you know, like that's tangible growth. Like, and that's a big deal for me because like in my past relationships, I've been in them for selfish reasons, you know? And it's like, you know, my relationships tell me so much about myself, you know, and like, who I am in those relationships. Like, is everything, right? Like whether it's
Right.
my partner, like love of my life, or you know, my mom, my dad, or people I meet like in the program, like they all like tell me like about myself, right? Like they hold up a mirror to me. And so like just going through that process and like acknowledging when I mess stuff up, and like you know, finding like the power in that, because I think that's like the biggest example of like my sense of spirituality. It's like this moment right here, dude. Like, you know, like you want to talk to me and like have a conversation about our stories, and like the power in that, like the power of this moment, being able to like reflect on all of that and like share that and be okay with it.
Right.
And
not being shamed.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Like that, cause I feel at home, dude.
Yeah.
Like I feel good sharing this stuff because it's the truth. And
right.
It's like, it's the reality that I was running from is now like where I find my power. Cause it's like, I don't like, and I think, you know, obviously like that's, how do I like, in spiritual terms, it's like everything's okay. You know, it's like, and I forget that, you know.
Oh, for
like,
sure. Yeah.
You know, and like there's things that make me like definitely feel like it's not okay sometimes. Right. But, you know, the more I can like accept it and like, and come from that place, man, like, you know, like life just gets amazing, right? Like,
well, let me tell you, man, it's been a pleasure tonight to sit down with you and have this beautiful session. And again, like I feel like every time I get to sit across from someone and they get to share their story and we get to have this interaction, has been very special. It's why I do this podcast, is because to just bring light to how beautiful our lives get when we put down the drugs and the alcohol and we start the journey, the second life per se, you know, and I just want to let you have an opportunity. Do you want to say anything more? How do you, you know, you want to let it out? Yeah. What's up, man?
No, man. I mean, it's been amazing to do this with you. And I'm really happy that, you know, you thought of me.
I appreciate you, man.
Like,
I've been seeing you around. I've been seeing you around, and that smile right there.
Yeah.
It's like the light's been brought to you, and like you've awoken, and it's just been a special thing to watch you. And I'm just glad you were accepting of this experience, and again, just thank you for coming today. And Mondo, thanks for your hospitality here at Color Studios. And
I do want to say one thing.
Yeah, go ahead.
I remember like when I came back this time, bro.
Yeah.
Like you were one of the most welcoming people in that experience of like, that was the first couple weeks coming back, man. I remember
you early on
at Magnolia, outside Magnolia.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what we did? We complimented each other on our clothes.
Come on, man. Hey, man, look, you get sober. You know, I don't know about everybody else, but as you can see, we have that's a good segue. The lineup of cologne here. Hey, look, so I bought some new YSL here. I got some, what do we got? The Blue Day Chanel, the Parfum. Anyway, as you can see, we're building up, man. We're spending a lot of money on clothes, cologne, and water. So anyway, this is what happens when you get sober: is you start to have some fun, smell good, stay hydrated, and
brush your teeth.
And brush your teeth. And your hygiene is of high priority. Anyway, Eli, it's been a pleasure, man. I love you, man.
Thank you.
Thanks
I love
for
you
coming.
too.
Sober Champs out. Thanks.
Peace.